craziness that is the coronavirus situation and talk through business and finance and how we can overcome a challenging season by just being good business owners and seeking opportunity in a moral and ethical way, and a whole bunch of other things. So great to have you with me on the stream today, and hopefully you are getting some progress in your business. Hopefully you're seeing some good things happening even amidst the craziness of what's going on, the shutdown and everything that's going on. New measures, I don't know where you're living, but in the UK where I am, some more new measures today. The government have just announced, the Bank of England have just announced that they have dropped the Bank of England base rate to 0.1%, which is just unprecedented. So yeah, crazy things are happening, and it's schools are closed. They just announced last night at 6 o'clock that schools in the UK are closed from tomorrow. So get ready for a little bit less content from me, maybe, as I try to look after my kids. Oh my gosh. But it's going to be interesting. Anyway, I wanted to share a few thoughts with you today. If you are, joining me for the first time on these live streams, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, and I think also today we're live on Twitter, maybe. So I don't know if that connection's worked. But the whole goal of these live streams is not about, I'm certainly no expert when it comes to, pandemics and the coronavirus. But what I am is someone who's running businesses that are going through the same challenges that you potentially are. So I thought I'd start these live streams just to help create forum for discussion and open up for questions and anything that you may be, going through that maybe we could walk through together. So this video is sponsored by me. You can check out my the resources page for the different trainings and stuff I offer below. But the focus of this is not that. The focus of this is really providing some support. So if you want to be tune into these each day, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, you follow on Insta, you like on Facebook, so you get the notifications of when we're live. And please feel free. What I do, the first few minutes of these is just share something that is hopefully going to be helpful, whether it's latest developments and how we can respond to them, or if it's something that is just going to help you keep your head above the water, keep positive, keep building a great business, keep adding value to your customers, whatever that may be. And so whilst I'm doing that, please feel free to ask questions, leave any questions you've got in the comments below the video on Facebook and on YouTube and also on Instagram. And you can you can ask any questions at any time, and after the first few minutes, once I've shared that kind of thought, I'll get into those questions, and if there's none, then we'll go home, I'm going to go make a cup of coffee in a minute and get on with some more work. But if there's loads, then we'll talk through them for as long as we need to talk through them. So there's no sort of set agenda or set time frame for these, just they're here to be a help. So my thoughts for today, and amidst the changes that are happening, which are many and varied. The government in our country, in the UK, is increasing their measures all the time with this virus. Across Europe, they are, increasing their measures all the time. Italy's on total lockdown. Spain, France are, really, really bringing the tightness of their controls in. So, it's a big one. There's lots changing in the US as well. I know a lot is changing there. So, there's lots going on, lots changing. But here's my thought for today, right? I believe without a shadow of a doubt that in this season and the season that comes after it, that online businesses are going to explode. Online businesses are going to grow more than ever. And now, of course, I'm biased, right? Because I run online businesses. I don't have a bricks and mortar business, apart from we have property that we rent out. But I don't have, a traditional business. My businesses are completely run online. And so, I'm a little bit biased on that front. And, people could say, well, Ben, of course you would say that because it's your industry. But at the same time, I could sit here and freak out and wonder what's going to go on with the business. But I'm actually looking at it from a very positive mindset, and really do just believe that the greatest days are ahead for online business. And here's why. Here's the reason why I'm so confident in this is because when the London bombings happened years ago, 2007 I think it was, I've constantly read stories about how people amidst those crises, because of the changes that took place on the underground, which is one of the busiest transport networks in the world, people actually changed their route to work because of closures and repairs to different underground routes. And what studies will have actually shown is that when those routes were repaired and people could travel back down that way again, they actually didn't travel that way anymore. They continued with the new routes they had found. And that's the thing, right? I just truly believe that online business is going to be the same. Online retail, as much as the world and media suggests that it's like blown up crazy and it's gonna kind of, maybe maxed out its market share, it's actually still less than 20% of the total retail, the global retail share happens online. It's growing every year and it's projected to, grow another 4 or 5% in the next couple of years. So it's growing all the time. But I think this is going to give it a real big boost because those people that were committed to continuing to buy certain things in the shops and in physical stores or, get certain services in certain, physical places are going to find more and more of that online in this season. We don't know how long it's going to last. It could last, a few weeks. It could last a few months. Some people are saying that this, situation, whether the controls last the same amount of time, but this situation might last up to 18 months, which is, just crazy to imagine. And we obviously all hope it doesn't last that long. But no matter how long it lasts, people are going to have to, adapt and evolve to what they're going through. They're going to have to learn different ways to do things, and online shopping particularly is going to see a big spike. In our sales on our Amazon stores, we've seen a big spike in the last few days as more and more people are at home shopping, and they still need to get birthday presents, they still need to get groceries, they still need to get supplies, all of these different kinds of things. But they're going to see a spike, and people that didn't used to buy toilet roll online are going to suddenly realize how convenient it is to buy toilet roll online. They're going to realize how easy it is to have a subscribe and save on Amazon for their medication, or not their medication, but their their supplements and their, different things like that. They're going to realize, actually, hey, this is super easy and way more convenient than going to the store. And I think that's going to cross over multiple different industries, not just e-commerce, but many, many different industries, such as, people are going to look at more online education. People are going to look at more online, fitness. They're going to look at more, I've even in this season been thinking, man, why am I going to the gym and wasting that time traveling to and from the gym? Nobody talks to each other these days anyway because everyone's got their headphones in. Why don't I just work out at home? And I think there's going to be so many people that do things like that. It's going to have a significant impact on the on our economy and the way of life. So if you're just joining us today, guys, I'm just sharing about how online businesses are going to explode in the coming years, and people aren't going to go back to the way they used to live, just in the same way that they don't go back to the same route. Often when a route gets stopped, like with the London underground bombing, a lot of people had to change their route to work, and they didn't ever go back to the original route because they had found this new way. And online retail is going to be the same. So if you are, again, just joining us and you've got any questions, just drop them in the comments below and we'll jump right into the questions in a moment. But yeah, great to have you on here on the stream. Let me know if you're facing any challenges, let me know, what you're concerned about. And look, this doesn't even have to be business. This can be, things you're worried about, things that you're stressed about. And I'm certainly not, a doctor or a counselor or an expert or anything like that. Sometimes it's just good to talk, Sometimes it's just good to talk through what you're going through. I think as entrepreneurs, we can sit at home and we can, try and get through work. But then there's so many things going on in our brains that it's just good to be able to have a, community to talk about it with. So feel free to share, just any of the challenges that you're facing, and we can, we can walk through them together. I know there's, be a lot of people out there that are, particularly in the UK right now, and you are, you're scrambling to kind of get childcare and sort that whole situation out and, work out what's going on there. So, I know there's going to be a little bit of craziness going on right now. We're just, in our family, thankfully that, we're already pretty well set up for working from home. Everyone's sort of freaking out about having to work from home and the change of lifestyle, and, not too much is going to change for us. But maybe that's something that you're just about to Maybe you're just about to go into working from home and you want some sort of tips on that or whatever, please, we can chat that through as well. Again, certainly not an expert, but Janice says the wedding industry, it's flatlined. Talk to me a bit more about that, Janice. Like what's going on? Obviously the frustration is that weddings are no doubt going to be affected. I think originally when, this thing has escalated so quickly. That's the problem, isn't it? That's the hard thing about this is it's escalated so quickly that we don't really know what's going to happen. I spoke to my dad on the phone literally on Monday, and he was sort of saying we're all supposed to be going on holiday together as a family in August, and he was saying, we'll have a decision to make about that soon. And I'm like, no way, that's so far away. But it feels like even in the space of a few days, things in August and September have all of a sudden, come under attack, from a mental point of view, So, it is crazy. It really is crazy. For some reason, it looks like the comments from one of the Facebook groups aren't showing up in the software that I'm using, so I'll just read them out and we'll kind of get into those as well. Jess says, "Hey Ben, great to see you keeping a positive attitude. So important at the moment. Do you know if there have been any announcements on credit card providers yet in terms of freezing interest, etc.?" No, I don't. It's something we talked about yesterday. I think it will happen to some extent, whether they freeze interest or I think what will likely happen, at least at first, is that they will say that if you miss payments, it won't affect your credit rating. That's what I think will happen first. But they may well freeze interest. I think if it goes on too long, there's going to be some drastic measures that the government have to come in and do. They just today announced, literally like half an hour ago, that Bank of England base rate has been reduced to 0.1%. Which is unprecedentedly low. So it's great for borrowers, but not great for savers. Again, thinking from the positive mindset, it's going to be super cheap to get borrowing, so if you wanted to buy a house, if you have got money saved up and you're looking at buying a house, this could be a good time because the housing market might take a bit of a fall. We were getting ready to sell one of our properties, so not so great on that front, but you've got to just roll with it and see how things go. But I haven't heard anything yet about them freezing interest, but could well do. And, I think these reductions in the Bank of England base rate should undoubtedly get passed on to consumers. So I think it should, ease up a little bit on that front. Jess also says, any tips on surviving at home with a 5-year-old? I don't know on that one. It's going to be an interesting time. I think, Beck and I, my wife and I, we've talked about how we just need to be as structured as possible. We need to put out a bit of a plan. There needs to be, treat it like the kids were almost at school. You have a little bit more flexibility and, treat it like that. But, what we also said is that actually, as much as there is a lot of rubbish stuff in this, there's a load of crap, in amidst all of this. I think, what we need to realise is that there can be some great positives that come out of it. I think families can come a lot closer because of this, because they're going to get more time together. I think there is a lot of good that can come from it. Just I'm trying to do, we just need to try and keep that, positive mindset. Marlena is asking in our Facebook group again. I don't know why the comments aren't pulling through, but I'll just read them out. Ben, how do you deal with the big currency exchange difference between GBP and USD? My product is now 30p more expensive. I was planning on making an order end of this month, but not sure if I should wait to see if it levels up again. It's a difficult one, Marlena, because it's like that crystal ball question, what's going to happen? We don't know. You could delay it and it could get even more extreme, or you could wait and it could improve. We just don't know. I think you need to just have a long-term mindset look at it, and 30p per unit, unless you are, before it was 10p per unit and now it's 40p per unit, obviously that makes a big difference. But if it's £2, £3, £4, £5, or more, then sure, it's going to affect your profit margins. But at the same time, what's more important? Is it, those few percentage points on your profit margins, or, generating that revenue that's going to keep that momentum in your business? So Obviously, if you haven't started out yet, then obviously there could be something to be said for delaying it and waiting until situations change. But again, we just don't know how long that's going to be. And as I've said, demand is increasing. So everything is relative. And because of the increased demand, no doubt decreased supply, because some businesses will freak out and pull out stock, and some businesses won't want to deal with China at the moment and all that kind of stuff. It presents an opportunity, and you may well see that prices do rise in some markets. So I mean, there's so many variables and so many ups and downs. I think you need to just try and think with that long-term mindset. That would be my thoughts on that, but feel free to shoot back any follow-up questions on that. Janice, I have shelved my wedding plans, so I can understand why others have. Why would anyone plan on this climate? Yeah, no, I agree, Janice. I get it. I do get it. Also, I was in talks with China for a new product, almost ready to place the order now. Now I feel like I need to hold off, but feel bad for the Chinese supplier. I mean, Janice, don't feel bad for the Chinese supplier. They're going through their own challenges in that season. You need to do what's best for your business, and of course you want to establish good relationships, and you need to be reasonable, of course, and ethical. But I think they would completely understand the situation you find yourself in, and I think there needs to be some middle ground. One of the suppliers I'm working with at the moment with a big order, and we were sort of nervous about fulfilling that big order, or kind of going through with that, and so we're trying to sort of work out with them a way to sort of spread that out and just mitigate any risk at the moment, because I think that is wise. I think that is wise, and I think suppliers understand that, and I think there needs to be give and take in this season. So there's a lot going on. So I think there'll be some give and there'll be some take. So just talk to them, and if they do start getting a bit more harsh about it, then obviously we can talk through it a bit more, and that's what hopefully we can be here for you as well, to kind of talk through the scenarios. And if they say this, then we can kind of work through a bit of a reply together. But yeah, hopefully they're reasonable about it, because it's so unprecedented, it's so unimaginable, this situation. So awesome. Well, yeah, if anybody obviously does have any other questions before we jump off today, then do drop them in the comments box below the video, and then we'll chat them through. But we'll jump off in a few minutes to allow you to go off and continue building your businesses and looking after your families and doing what you need to do. But like I say, remember, online business is about to see, I believe, a significant increase. And so, as we've discussed in previous days, what you need to be thinking about is, what are my opportunities? Not opportunity from the mindset of how can I capitalize on people's misfortune, but how can I actually look at the opportunities to serve the world, to bring products of quality, to bring services that make a difference, all of those things. How can I go about that and do that in a way that's going to build some value into the world? Because as we know, the more value you offer the world, the more your business is going to grow. Money and value is a direct exchange. Money is really, it's just a principle. It doesn't really exist when you think about it. It's just numbers on a screen that get exchanged for providing value. And so the more value you can provide, the better your business is going to do, and the more it's going to grow, and the more it's going to expand. So yeah, keep focusing on that, guys, and here every day. So if you do have challenges over the next few days, or if you do have questions, make sure you do come with those questions. Like I say, certainly not an expert, but just want to be here to create that sort of forum for everybody to discuss it through. So if you do want my help with any sort of further training, then there'll be links in the descriptions below on YouTube, or you can head to the website bendonovan.co.uk. If you want like free resources, it'll be /resources, and there's a whole bunch of different free trainings, tools, different things like that. And just feel free to let me know as well, what else I can help with in this season. Just drop me an email, drop me a message, let me know in these daily chats, and we'll do what we can to get through this season with some positivity and seeing some great results. Good stuff. All right. Well, thank you for being part of the community. Like I said at the start, if you want to know when these are going live, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, following on Instagram, following on Twitter, liked on Facebook, all those different forums, and you should get the notification of when we're live. Tomorrow we'll be back with a different topic of conversation. Oh, Mo had a question. Go on then, Mo. Mo had a question. Hopefully you still got a question, because I will wait for you. Nobody Gets Left Behind. Oh, Hannah, that's family. What movie is that from? Stitch, Lilo and Stitch. Hit me, Mo. Hopefully you haven't left, Mo, and left us hanging on the edge of our seats. If on these videos as well, hey guys, would love to hear some positive stories. If you're seeing some good things happen, if you're seeing some, great community things happening, then I'd love to hear about that too. And like I said, make sure you remember it doesn't just have to be about business. It doesn't just have to be about Amazon. I run businesses that aren't involved in Amazon, and so again, I'm certainly not an expert, but we can definitely talk it through and work some things out. If it's finances, if it's team, if it's how to deal with team in this sort of period of time, then that's a discussion as well. Feel free to let me know. Mo, the question is, bro, keeping me hanging here. I had a question, ... The question is, ... Come on, Mo, hit me. What you got? Let's go. All of these hordes of people that are on this live broadcast are just hanging on now. Here we go. All right, Mo says, I'm ready to start my FBA business and have all the cost and my product. Will this be a good time to start considering the virus? Well, I think, we were talking about it, some of the aspects a little bit before, that, there's a lot of variables in this, and there are, a lot of things. Obviously, I don't know about your situation, your circumstances, but on the whole, like as a generic answer, sales right now are going up on Amazon and online in general. The future is going to be bright for online in the online business industry because of what we're going through and because of everything I've talked about in this video, about how once people have changed their way of living, they often don't go back to the way they were before. So more and more people are going to be buying stuff online. So it's really, I honestly, and I know I'm biased, right? Because I promote like this business model. I do this, I run a business like this myself, and I'm a big fan of it. So I know I'm biased, but at the same time, like I'm doubling down on my online business. I'm doubling down on our physical products brands. We're putting a lot more effort into it, really, because just believe there's so much still to go in it. So yeah, I think it is a great time to be doing it. Of course, there are some caveats. Of course, you do need to be mindful of supply chain issues. China seems to be getting sort of back to almost, I wouldn't say optimal efficiency, but getting close. And, but what obviously is the issue is depends where you're selling and where you're living. If you're trying to import goods into Italy or Spain or France, that's potentially some, a challenge now. And the UK is starting to tighten its grip on things. So we'll see. I think, delivery drivers, though, are, in the UK at least, they're talking about key workers. And it's funny because they're talking about how key workers, kids will still be able to go to school. And they listed them off on the news. They were like nurses, doctors, police officers, delivery drivers, and it's like nothing against delivery drivers, but they don't usually get ranked up there with doctors and nurses, in terms of importance to the nation. But this is the hour, this is the day of the delivery driver. They have come of age and now are like one of the key members of society. So even amidst total lockdown, delivery drivers, I would imagine, will still be operating, and I imagine will still, be running. So it's for those reasons I'm pretty bullish about this industry, and I'm pretty confident about it. So if you have any more follow-up questions, feel free to jump on tomorrow or shoot me an email or let me know. But those are my thoughts. The future is bright for the online retail industry, and we just need to get through the season, care for our families, care for those that are weak and vulnerable, stop stockpiling toilet roll because I cannot find any. So don't do that. Be generous with your resources. Let's work together and get through this together. Mo says, just as we close, he says, you've answered it well, thank you. Another one is, with Amazon, how would you differentiate against other competitors? I mean, that's probably a long question and a long answer for maybe tomorrow or another day. But really what you need to do is you need to be creating more value than those other competitors around you. So in terms, when people say differentiation, doesn't mean offer a different color, doesn't mean offer a different size. It could be a combination of those things. But what it's about is offering a whole package that is more valuable than your competitors. So you need to think less about a product and more about the entire package that makes up that product. So if you're selling a yoga mat, then you might think, well, what can I package with that yoga mat, whether it's a physical sort of extra product with it, or whether it's a workout poster with it, or something that's going to complement it. But then also, what else can you do? Can you offer, post purchase, can you offer some value to the customer? So in terms of differentiation, you need to think about it from a different number of angles. So that's like a quick answer, because this is becoming a bit of a long stream, but a quick answer. If you do want to chat it through any more or have any further questions on it, then feel free to shoot a question in for tomorrow, and we'll get onto it then. All right, thanks guys for joining me on the live stream today. Like I said, make sure you subscribe for notifications. If you do want me to talk about anything else, have any other topic suggestions that you want me to cover, or ask about how we're dealing with certain things, make sure you do let me know, and I will see you in the next one tomorrow. See you soon.